Alrighty, so let's dive on into this and get this ready to begin as we start in the bottom right side. Our red Terran player is gonna be HeroMarine. Taking on the blue Terran top left-hand side, romantic side. Second to last day of the Spring Championship, our last match of this second last day. Tomorrow we wrap up our tournament. 3 best of 5s and the best of 7 tomorrow. Gonna be a good bit of fun. And excited for it, excited to see who just come out on top at the very end of it all. Like I say, should be a good bit of fun. As we get this one started. I just want to take a moment to say, of course, thank you again so much, all of you guys making this event possible. If it wasn't for your support, we wouldn't have such an awesome Spring Championship. We wouldn't have had the prize money to draw in all of these players and to even run this awesome format. So, again, shout out to everybody, all you guys that sub and stuff. You go a long way to helping us out and all that kind of stuff. So thank you so much for the support on that one. So yeah, just wanted to shout you guys out one more time. Just feel like you gotta spread the love, you know? Spread the love. Thanks, guys. You allow me to spread the Starcraft love. Okay, so first map is Romanticide. And I guess I'll just mention this quickly as well as we get going, and we just see both players ending up onto a factory before expanding. Obviously this looks as though we're going to clip on over into the ESL Open Cup unless it's a very fast TvT. So my plan personally is to cover... I don't know if I'm going to do the Open Cup, to be honest. I don't know how much Starcraft passion we're feeling. Because we're already 5 hours deep. I feel like the Open Cup's a bit of a drainer as well, so we're gonna wrap this up and we'll see if we join the Open Cup or not. I've got to make that decision as we go, basically. So we'll see. I'll let you guys know. Obviously, this series was played just a couple hours ago. So this one is from replays. Again, with the schedule changes we had no choice but to play some multiple at a time. It's worked out. We've had some fast series today, so we've actually been able to cast them all, fortunately, apart from that Showtime Zound series. So, at least that part of it's kind of worked out in the end. Now, we've seen ByuN play 1 TvT today. And he did exactly this. There's 3 Reaper 2 Hellion opening into that delayed starport. Not even super delayed. What you do get here is that early reactor. That's nice. But then you don't go into marine production as quickly, so... Yeah, I mean, a little bit here or there. I mean, it's pretty similar on both sides of the map. Biggest difference is a Widow Mine from HeroMarine, and now he's going to go Tech Lab on the factory. And we'll see if ByuN can maybe get anything done with these units that start to make their way across right about now. Mine connects and the first Hellion goes down. Just going to dive on in. Just going to see a couple of grenades coming through and good grenades as well from ByuN. It's just the initial start of this fight was not great, and this is very reminiscent of how he played against the against Sol as well, right? He kind of lost out that initial fight because he kind of just over-believed in his army almost, you know? That's kind of exactly what happened there. As you can see, Widow Mine continuing through the center, so now has a chance to maybe move further forward. And obviously in this case, you kind of dive past that Widow Mine, so you're already 1 unit down as you go into the natural expansion. And that's typically, I mean, that's why the Widow Mine is so good defensively. Why it is so good defensively. Another Widow Mine. Now down that bottom left side, this Hellion is going to make its way across around the right. Again, Raven coming up on either side of this. Raven's in production here for the moment. Excuse me, as we get this underway. Reaper hops up. Excuse me. Reaper hops up and gets taken down. That's just going to be seen again. Another refinery out back of the natural here. It's just getting that set up and so on. As we get the rest of this ready to go, guys. Just all set up. Ravens coming in. Command center building from HeroMarine in the main base as well. Just going to see another tank gain siege. A Starport going to swap on over to that reactor. Barracks is going to go to the tech lab. And well, TvT on Ramanda's side is definitely an interesting scenario anyway in itself, because this is absolutely a map what we've seen, especially HeroMarine with Clam, with Soul, go super late game, because it's a difficult map to close things out on. I'm not saying that anyone should be closing out right now, but it just means that the reason that happens is also the reason that right now we're probably not expecting too much to happen, because if you get aggressive too early here, what are you actually going to do? Like, where can you really go to be very successful with a push right now? Nowhere, really, because, let's face it, if you go across the map, there's only one ramp you can push up. If your opponent ain't ready for that, then, well, they're probably not playing Starcraft, quite frankly. I come all the way down the south side here. This wood of mine is positioned to strike. Is just going to get picked off, so gets denied pretty quick. Just going to see the rest of this from ByuN making his way around into the center. Hellion in the middle here, going to grab that Marine as well. Pulling back a little bit, that Hellion taking damage as well. 1-1 upgrades on either side, a little bit favorable for HeroMarine. They're a little bit faster, really not much between the two of them here as we move around in the middle of the map. Waiting to see what is next. Vikings on the way. I mean, obviously air control is going to be a pretty big question mark throughout this. Right now it's 6 Vikings to 6, so it is going to be the difference between them now is that ByuN is continuing to make Vikings while HeroMarine starts to go into medevac production. He's halting up the Viking build just that slight amount. As Marine on Marine here does not go the way of anyone in particular. I mean, ByuN wins, but even if he'd lost, there would have been an SCV. Maybe you lose an SCV if you lose that Marine war, so maybe it is essential. It's not that important. Why is it that one excuses when he or she clears his or her throat? Or is it not just because it's like, you guys don't want to listen to me clear my throat? Like, it's a disruption to the actual commentary or sounds you want to hear, right? So I'm like, oh, excuse me for a moment. Excuse me, guys. Sorry. I don't know. I think it's just manners, isn't it? I don't think you have to. It's just sometimes I say because I have nothing else to say for the moment. So it's just not a pleasant sound, right? And it can definitely be kind of loud, especially over a microphone. So I always try and mute myself up when I do it. But sometimes my hand forgets to go and push the mute button. Sometimes, and if I do it too quickly and I'm like, quick mute, I go mute button, and then I hit the bleep button instead, and then everyone's like, bleep? Why is Wardy swearing? Like, oh god damn it. HeroMarine pulling around the bases over here. A couple more Vikings going to show up. I mean, this is just TvT, guys. On Ramanda's side, I kind of said it earlier, it's likely to be passive. It's likely to not have a lot going on. This is the kind of game which gets very exciting a few minutes down the line, right? Where we actually start seeing a lot of positions. So maybe even right now, But up until this point, being very uninteresting. This is the first real move of the game. As ByuN's going to dive in for position on this third. Auto turrets are going down, and interference matrices are going down. He's going to come out ahead of this fight. HeroMarine's going to force ByuN to pull it back a little bit. These tanks are going to come back into play right now. Is he going to be able to fight the tanks off? He is going to get a few final tank kills of his own, so ByuN trades pretty decently. I mean, HeroMarine just now getting 2-2. He's traded worse here for sure, especially because he just lost his entire air army. ByuN maintaining a little bit of this and keeps this position. Drop on the right side as well. Will not do that much, but it obviously keeps the units busy over there for a while longer. Nearly losing the orbital, but HeroMarine is able to lift it and save it, keeping it alive. You see these Marines now going through. Shoots down one of the medevacs. This is always going to be a cleanup, I think, and HeroMarine with the upgrade lead as well definitely will clean up. There was a moment where... yeah, it was a dangerous moment for sure, right? That absolutely could have gone... I mean, you come out of this... it's dangerous if you let it happen. He nearly lost the third CC, but he didn't, and after all is said and done, you come out of this, and actually, the game is kind of even. Game is kind of even. Wardy should have a throat clearing ASMR stream. Why does Wardy assume we don't like the sound of him clearing his throat? You guys are weird. Honestly, every time I do anything, there's someone in chat being like, Wardy, inappropriate comment about what you just said. Wink. I'm like, what the actual is wrong with you? You want me to cough in your face? You guys want to pay me to cough on the stream? Feel free. Premium rates, though, it's apparently such a high-demand service. Yay. I'll even send you guys a private voice message of me coughing. If you guys are like a super sub. Tier 3 sub, private coughing message. Yay. Alright, COVID reactor on the way as ByuN comes up. I literally just called it COVID reactor, not COVID reactor. That's my bad. I kind of went COVID, but that probably sounded bad. COVID reactor on the Starport Tech Lab. So we are going to go heavy onto Ravens now, moving into that Raven production, having a lot of those. Have a lot of energy on those Ravens to utilize and all that kind of stuff. That's the next step here. What's the ping from EU to Korea? 300-ish. A bit higher, a bit lower. 300, I'd say like 300 to 340. Doesn't really matter for this though, because this is played on NA. First map will be Central, slight favor to HeroMarine. Second map will be West, slight favor to ByuN. Central, West, Central. So that's the way the servers line up. A little bit of advantage to HeroMarine here. We're talking about like a 30-40 ping difference or so in general. As we are going to have that planetary fortress, able to clean up over here. Still got units out in the center, setting up as well as we have. ByuN is trying to apply pressure from two different sides, still being a very active player in this game as he'll deny this Liberator, which is always great. Anytime you get a chance to shut down a Liberator, because Liberators can be annoying. They can be very easy ways to chunk through tanks, etc. High ground vision is just not there from HeroMarine, so you'll lose two tanks as well. And ByuN really is just the very successful aggressor in this game. Moving around the map, chipping off here, chipping off there. HeroMarine currently stands with a higher army supply and with slightly, ever so slightly faster upgrades that won't really make a difference. Both players are going to get full upgrades soon. But yeah, a little bit more army supply from HeroMarine. Bit down on workers. I think the big thing is the map control, and that's what I like so much about ByuN in this game. He's got map control all over the place, and that's allowing him to just expand like a madman. And it's going to be a little bit tough to fight against that, because if ByuN can just out-expand you and trade ineffectively because he's holding more expands, then ByuN can trade ineffectively into your new expansions. That's where HeroMarine might face some trouble if ByuN is then able to basically contain you from getting those bases up. So having the map control already gives you that kind of slight edge in that regard. Of course, you're going to have to work hard to keep that map control throughout, and map control does mean that your bases are maybe a little bit more vulnerable, so if you don't manage to catch the drops and stuff coming across, then you could be punished by, you know, that technique. SCV's going down. Little Liberator Harass is doing decent, but I'm kind of interested in this fight over here because this is the big one. Again, the Liberator production from HeroMarine just ain't working out right now. I think overall I prefer the Raven play to the Liberator play, and the one thing the Liberator play is doing well is the SCV Harass over here. But the Liberators are not doing anything in these major fights, and those Ravens are definitely the anti-armor missiles, etc. Going a long way as well, so kind of prefer this a little bit for ByuN as well, with how the air units are going at the moment. This back a little bit. A few Marines up on this top side going to nibble through this planetary fortress. At the same time, fight breaking out in the center again. It's mostly going to be these air armies clashing. These Vikings go up against other Vikings, and you have a pretty decent time trading out here so far. Vikings still trying to move on through. Back and forth. Continuing! Oh, this is just TvT, isn't it? This is just TvT. The thing is, what I actually think is really cool about Romanticides, I do think like the extreme late game is you start fighting over the final bases and that positional warfare, holding bottom side and top side, pushing one side, holding the other, etc. I think that part of it becomes very exciting, but like this right now, and like the build up to that point is very slow going, and we're 20 minutes in almost with, what has been a couple of major fights, one major push around the bottom side from ByuN, and other than that, a few Viking trades. So I kind of love the situation we get into on Romanticide late game. I just don't know if well, I definitely don't love, but I don't know if it's worth the slow build up until that point, They're fighting again, anti-armor missiles and auto turrets. It really feels like these Ravens are just putting so much value out there. They are going to die now, though, as they drop as many auto turrets as possible. Obviously, you're trading out for these Vikings and potentially Liberators, too. Yeah, I mean, you're going to win in the sky, so the question was it worth losing the Ravens? Because the Ravens probably could have pulled back, but they hard committed to auto turret, and of course, during the auto turrets, even after that, they're kind of at the front still tanking a little bit, and now we're going to see air control maybe go in the way of HeroMarine. His reinforcing Vikings make a big clear up. And we are going to see HeroMarine getting the air control, but suddenly there's Marines he needs to control. Otherwise, he's not going to be able to save bases and take bases. And that's obviously going to be, again, one of the big issues we're going to keep on bringing up here. Because you're going to need to be able to expand in these scenarios, else you're just in a world of trouble. Viking on Viking action, just going to be seeing these three Marines. Let's start stimming over these couple of tanks being picked away at. Decent tank fire there. Just going to be seeing our other tanks sieging up off that left side. A couple Libs going to siege up too. They are just about going to back away there as those Libs come through. Otherwise, these Vikings continue to set up as well. Liberator is going to be sieging up too. +1 ship weapons, +2 ship and vehicle plating. Let's be honest, actually a little bit behind on the air weapons because he upgraded mech weapons a lot more. So that might be one of the reasons he may lose out in some of these Viking wars. Something to keep in mind, that for a while upgrades are definitely a little bit off. The ship weapons, or the ship plane, sorry, that ByuN's getting, though, is something that HeroMarine stopped at +1 for, though. So, plane is pretty important, too. So, again, the upgrades are just kind of a weird mix of things right now. It's not very often we have to kind of discuss, would you rather have +3 ship weapons or +2 ship plating? Probably ship weapons, I think, in general, but yeah. Not sure exactly how that interaction pans out in full is. We'll drop on the right side. ByuN can control the right. ByuN actually has to play with a little bit more money in the bank as move forward here. Uh-oh, Raven's not able to get into play, and one Raven just gets taken down. Now we're going to turn anti-armor missile. There's still a lot of Ravens with a lot of energy that just ain't being used right now. It just is not being used at all. 5 SCVs down the right side. These few Marines trying to make their way in. Marines showing up. Just going to get a good chunk of kills on the far right here as well, so clearing that out. Viking Lib out on the south side. Still got some units of ByuN. Just on a patrol here too. In the bottom left-hand corner. Again, this is, like I say, the part that gets very interesting. ByuN's actually going to take the base of HeroMarine here. This is where you're going to kind of defend one side, or defend two sides of the map usually. And this is where usually there's a bit more kind of tank pushing, positional play. Right now, these Liberators are finally finding their own. It took a while for the Libs to really come into their own in this game, but honestly, they've kind of shown up. In the last couple of fights, they've been putting work in. Obviously, getting better air control for HeroMarine has been, you know, a big step in the right direction in that regard. Vikings are going to re-engage in again as you see these couple of tanks getting picked away at. Lib fire is decent as well to provide coverage there. These Marines are still pushing through. Going to stem for this. Vikings going to have to back it up. Lib fire still looking good, clearing out another siege tank, and all of our tanks currently just slamming down onto that orbital command that's just off to the left side. Marine's going to stem ahead, going to jump on top. First tank goes down, second tank gets picked off as well. Upright command center sets up. Marines are going to go running forward again. I think you got to deny that, right? You can't let ByuN just mine from your side of the map at all. So Marine's right to go deny it, but it's good for ByuN, right? It takes units out of the equation. It's fairly cheap. I mean, at this stage, 400 minerals. 400 mils is never cheap, but it's not a bad way to draw units out of position for a while, and it's got potential, because if you don't deny it, then you actually get quite a lot out of it, taking minerals away from your opponent's half of the map. It's also a pretty big deal. So the missile turret is... Oh, sorry, Sense Tower and the missile turret going to come through. Rest of the Marines making their way around the upper right-hand side. HeroMarine kind of has this kind of forward position. Obviously, he's more the defender than ByuN. ByuN doesn't have much on this top side himself. He's set up a tank or two now. Realizing maybe that with this stronghold set up, HeroMarine may start to put some attention around to the top side of the map instead. She comes in with a group of Marines, and they're going to just trade out for a couple tanks. Static defense in this base. Just can't take down the planetary fortress, of course, so then you have no choice other than to back this up. Turn this around. Those Marines wanting to give chase. Tank on the high ground is well positioned to push those Marines away, and a lot of those Marines taking a lot of shots. Damage coming through. Viking on Viking action is pretty decent to begin with, honestly. You're going to turn it back around once again as our Liberator is still moving into this. Those Liberators going to start getting sieged as well as... Again, we go back and forth. Another anti-arm missile going down, so keeping that up. A couple of interference matrices too, but HeroMarine is disengaged in full. He's missing some money to remax instantly though, and that's going to be part of the problem. Have a look at some of the graphs over the last 10 minutes as the army supplies. See, obviously big loss here from HeroMarine. Otherwise, it's kind of, they tracked around pretty well. This was more HeroMarine just rebuilding faster than ByuN did back after that fight. Income-wise, down in general a bit favored, but that's now kind of trickling towards HeroMarine's favor. So, yeah, like I said, unless you, I mean, the big thing here is really HeroMarine needs to at some point mine this base, because that is the one thing that ByuN is doing that HeroMarine is not. And doesn't even matter. It's not even like, you know, at this stage ByuN needing to steal it. If he can just stop HeroMarine mining it, he'll just win the game. Because eventually, unless HeroMarine finds a way to trade mega efficiently, which, you know, out of nowhere you're just going to start trading like 10,000 resources better than your opponent. Well, if you do that, you're probably going to win a fight, so you can take this base anyway, right? So this really comes down to just denying that base, and ByuN is really in pristine position to win this out. 25 minutes deep at the moment. We're on to decide our first map of this lower bracket round 3 TvT. Tank fire goes off, chases the Marines away. Vikings and Ravens are patrolling over here. Well, scans going down. Missile turret fire is decent on those Vikings as well. Another one of these air battles. We've seen so many of them. I love the auto turrets. Just a little bit of aid. Just help out anything as ByuN and HeroMarine. I mean, it's a full-on clash. Let's just remove the graphs and the stuff on the side. Let's just watch. Add black bars, put a cinematic screen on or something. Like seriously, it was. It's like a movie. These. I feel like, this is like the background or like the filler shots of a movie. You just see the Vikings firing each other, boom, 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 and we're actually following the story of like one little Marine trying to save the world. He's gonna make the difference. Again, with that extra money in the bank, again, has just mined more than HeroMarine in general. Resources lost even. Again, just put 2 and 2 together, you put those stats together, you put those numbers together, in the end, HeroMarine runs out of stuff, and ByuN wins this, so ByuN just needs to hold it back. He just needs to keep doing what he's doing. He needs to make sure HeroMarine does not win. The one thing HeroMarine can win here is that if HeroMarine wins with like one big fight very convincingly, he can go across the map and deny the fact that HeroMarine has got the bank advantage, right? The only issue with that, and I do think it's an issue, I think the issue with that is that if you do that as HeroMarine, I mean to do that as HeroMarine, you basically need to win a fight so convincingly, and if you like, how is that going to happen in this sort of scenario? HeroMarine is going to get the top right line, so again, I think you just mine this out. You let this go down to one larger fight later in the game. Don't think you need to do anything too crazy right now. As we are stalled out again. Couple shots going down. And SCV's picked off. We are going to see the Viking Lib Force pulling back slightly. Missile turrets on the top. We're going to have a missile turret showdown apparently, but a few units coming across. ByuN is going to get position. At the very least, going to start denying that extractor or that refinery in the near future if he has vision of it. Which he'll scan for. See, this is what I was kind of waiting for in this matchup. This kind of top right fight while the bottom left fight happens as well. This sort of positional, I feel like we just never got that. It was always focused in one place. HeroMarine is going to have ByuN swinging around with the entire air armor. Unit count, 33 Vikings to 30. The 6 Ravens to the 0/1 Liberator is just incomparable, though. Anti-armor missile makes such a big difference here, and HeroMarine just can't afford to rebuild Liberators or to rebuild any more tech on top of the Vikings, so it's kind of just how it is HeroMarine showing up. ByuN's gonna have to back it up, but again, the money he has in the bank, he can rebuild, get ready to go again. Oh look, he's building battle cruisers. So battle cruisers are on the way now from ByuN to really try and be the nail in the coffin of HeroMarine. And it really is just because this air control is so important, and PC's really just confirmed the air control is in your favor. This should be a fairly unique game in the series. The other map that could go long like this one is probably 2000 Atmospheres. Scans around the map, keeping an eye on what's going on here. Tanks firing up top. There's going to be initially a one fight by ByuN, and he's going to take some damage himself. Stem in. We're going to start breaking into a fight here. BCs are going to teleport straight in as they just finished building, so they're going to show up and we'll see what they can do. The Viking numbers are dropping a little faster for HeroMarine as he taps out of the game. He realizes this fight ain't going his way, especially because he has nothing left to fight the battle cruisers with. GG, and ByuN is going to take game number 1 of this best. Actually, one sec. Alright, game number 2, and we're going to start off down in the bottom right-hand corner of the map with the red Terran player from Mouse Sports. This is HeroMarine. Taking on our blue Terran. We've got the Shopify Rebellion's ByuN. Again, you win this, you are top 4 in the tournament. Clam will stand in your way of being top 3, and Zest and Cure will stand in your way of being top 2 and the champion. So, again, winner of this plays Clem tomorrow. Winner of that will play the loser of Zest versus Cure from the winner bracket finals. And then we've got ourselves the grand final as well, of course. That's how tomorrow looks. Again, we will start 1 hour later than today tomorrow, as we'll also have the Storm Esports Network King of the Hill, the PEN King of the Hill, tomorrow as well. Double gas from both. Rocks factory coming up from both. Let me get this ready to begin, guys. Get this party started. For another round of TvT action. This time on the beautiful map of Lightship. This map should not be anything like the last one. This is a map where you absolutely can take advantage of your opponent's mistakes. You can push across the map much more easily. You can siege up your opponent's main base and stuff. So there's a lot of things you can do to really take advantage. Just in general, it's going to be difficult to split the map like it is on Romanticide. Extra bases are pretty far out there. You're going to have better rotations, easier rotations between bases too. Typically, this map is meant to be easier to clear your opponent up on. That's something to keep in mind because it is important. This should not end up the same as map. In fact, I'd be, like I say, surprised if any map ends up like game number 1 did. Apart from maybe 2,000 Atmospheres. Like, 2,000 Atmospheres is the one map where you could be like, okay, maybe I can see it kind of thing, you know. Reaper's gonna get a killer right away. This happened once earlier today too, right? Soul just also hopped straight up into 2 Reapers and just lost a Reaper. HeroMarine does the same thing himself right now. He'll end up pulling this Reaper away. Back down the bottom side. Two Reapers come in. SCV is gonna be killed. SCV for the 2 Reapers. I guess you're not too afraid of a counterattack or so, otherwise you wouldn't have given them up so easily. Obviously the Cyclone being there is a guaranteed kill on 1-2, but we've got a Cyclone on the side of ByuN as well, so that's where we're gonna stand is. Remember that earlier ByuN played Soul? What ByuN was really good at was establishing a lot of early game map control. You know, he was constantly on the map early, he stayed on the map, he was very aggressive on the map, and he was able to constantly find damage in the early stages as well, and I think that was a big part of his success in that series. As this Reaper moves in towards the natural, gets locked onto, shut down straight away. This couple of Cyclones just going to start moving out. There goes that medevac through as well, making its way across. It's going to head down to the bottom side of the map. And this will be taking that into the main here very, very soon. Elsewhere, a couple Cyclones on the far right-hand side hanging around. Marines are going to begin to unload. The SCV gets picked off. That Depot goes down, and like I say, this is very reminiscent of what ByuN was doing earlier today as well. Medevac, kind of surprised it didn't go for the lift up on that one one Marine there, as he doesn't quite get that Cyclone at the end. He does lift up and unload now. Still doesn't have the Cyclone. He's actually going to get killed by it as well. Locked onto and denied. Good cleanup from here. Marine loses a couple SCVs, but that's a fair amount of important units, right? Marines, the medevac. Those are units you would like to keep alive a lot of the time here, so nice to see those being handled properly. And just really gives HeroMarine a good chance of getting off to a better start right now. So I love that. He's down a game. Would love to see him fight it back and tie us up. I'm a fan of these series going long. It's the Spring Championship, you know. It's our big event. We don't just want 3-0s. We want it to be big. We want it to be epic. Marine the Cyclone going to be coming through to the center. These couple of Cyclones of ByuN still making their way out down the bottom. Coming back through, doing a decent job picking up there. Just going to see still this little squad of HeroMarine out the front. Start to push on forward. Marine, tank, Raven, Cyclone coming through. Cyclone is able to pick off that Marine up the top side. Picks that down nice and quickly. Gonna start moving forward. He has these couple tanks set up over to the left. Well, Matrix is going down. Tank's gonna get caught up right away. And you just see HeroMarine gonna start pushing through this position. If you can take this position, what you're able to do from here is, once you have this position, like I mentioned earlier, right at the start of the game, you can siege that main base. This is a map where you can absolutely take full advantage, and you can absolutely you know, take advantage of the fact of a lead you take, right? So by pushing the third base back, HeroMarine is immediately in a good position that you can work forward from to do more stuff with. And of course, the size of this map allows you to push quickly as well, and that's allowed HeroMarine to get across into this aggressive position too. I think we'll just get sieged. Gonna pull it back down the bottom right hand side then. That's gonna chill this out a little bit. Everything's settling down the bottom. Couple tanks gonna get sieged up. Upgrades coming through. 1-1. HeroMarine obviously not able to keep the position, so the third CC of ByuN gets back into location, but HeroMarine should still hold a bit of an advantage off that initially. Should be able to get something done with this. Still, I'd imagine. I'd be surprised if he wasn't able to do anything here. I go pushing through the center. Away we go. And one Marine to begin with. Just taking that down. As you see, a little bit of a fight breaking out. Vikings taking some damage. Pushing on in here, these couple of tanks gonna get sieged. Now HeroMarine's gonna start making his way to the other side. Vikings firing up a storm. A little bit of back and forth starting out again. It's gonna be seeing the depot gonna get denied. And HeroMarine again just getting himself in an aggressive position again. You can't do this on Romanta's side because, well, the map just doesn't let you move in this kind of way. You're going to be able to do this here, and you can just see that this is a position that's very hard for ByuN to break. ByuN's going to try and make his way around from the bottom side, so he's going to come in for an attempted flank on this one. Let's see if he can make this work from the top, from the bottom. The tanks of siege is going to do A lot of damage here, HeroMarine. He's going to land the Vikings as well, and he's going to protect the tanks. So the tank's still alive. Oh my goodness, the tanks are going to live through this. Well, that's just a game ender, because if you have tanks alive at the end of this, you have absolutely just won the fight. And that means you can stick around and hold this position too. He's actually going to pull it back towards his reinforcements, so we'll respect that a little bit at least. But, jeez, man, that's kind of brutal. Gonna go stimming up here, HeroMarine making his play up towards the top side. It's gonna be GG, and we are gonna get ourselves tied up here, actually, 1-1. Very exciting stuff, huh? Very exciting stuff. So, we're gonna be tied up 1-1. And we are gonna start going the distance, apparently. So, guaranteed at least a couple more maps. And that is coming up. So, guys, we're gonna take a quick little break. Let me actually throw us out of game for some reason. We're still in game. Top right hand side. Tying it up. Our red Terran player is HeroMarine. Looking for a chance to play Clem tomorrow. In the bottom left, our blue Terran is ByuN. As Clem sits in lower bracket round 4. Waiting for the winner of this. Again, that will play tomorrow. We finish the Spring Championship tomorrow. We've had a great time with this event. Taking place over a little while. I'm excited, guys. I think we're gonna have a really great day tomorrow. I had such a good event. Like I say, this has been something that I planned out back in March or so, right? I mean, when did we even start this? The first, the pre-party was March 25th, so we've actually done pretty well to play it out of. It feels like an eternity ago, but we did pretty well to play it out over. Well, about 6 weeks. I actually think it's the first event I've run in a long time that hasn't experienced like major delays. Or the first like long-term event that hasn't experienced delays due to other events in a major way. So, yeah. It's been nice. It's been nice. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it too. And if you have, well, we've got more coming later in the year. We've got still guaranteed this year we will run. And so these are guaranteed. We will 100% run this year. The WardiTV Summer Championship and the WardiTV European League. They will be at least 2 more major events this year from WardiTV. And we might even do more. It kind of just depends on how the year pans out, and obviously downtime. If other events come around that are going to take up the time between tournaments and stuff, or the time between DreamHack seasons and so on. If there's other events that are filling that space, then we're going to have to work around that a little bit more as well ourselves, but yeah, the plan is to at least run those 2 major events, and we'll obviously see what happens from there on. So yeah, hit the follow button, don't miss any of it. We've cast all the Starcraft 2 we can out here as the early game. A little different this time around, a little bit of a faster expansion here out of ByuN. He's only just taking the 2nd gas compared to HeroMarine, who took both these gases very early on. So yeah, ByuN is just a little bit 1 gas expand kind of mixed on in here on Oxide. See what he can do with it. Command Center on the natural going to be done fairly soon. Starport on either side of the map. First Viking on the way in. That Hellion still patrolling to the left-hand side, and a couple of Reapers are going to sit down on low ground as well. Marine production continuing, rallying through. This Reaper's going to hop on down. Game Tank and Viking going to continue to build on up here with the Tech Lab on the Starport. Just going to finish as well. What's up, Jump and Crack Base? 1 year on the Prime. Hell yeah, thank you so much. Just thanks for the content. As always, been hella busy with work, but happy to be able to tune in finally. Glad that work calmed down a bit. Hope it wasn't all so bad. Hope you got paid. Nice. I hope you got paid decently for it. That's what I wanted to say. Words are difficult, what can I say? Alright, so. Tank and a siege up on the natural. Get this underway, get this set up. This event's been amazing. I'm glad you think so, guys. I really enjoyed it. I love the format for the Spring Championship. I think it's a little bit unique and different, and I don't know, I just like it. There's a reason I put the extra couple $1,000 in to basically replicate what we did last year. I think it was 100% worthwhile. I think this event's been awesome too. I think we've had some great stuff with it. Reaper goes down there, so that gets shot down by this Hellion right away, as Hellion's going to pull back. Marines setting up. Racks are going to transport around and get set up a little bit. Again, ByuN a little bit ahead on workers. A little bit behind on army based on just how they opened with that one gas expand versus double gas expand. And this HeroMarine looks as though he will start a push. He hasn't messed around too much this game. He's gone straight to those tanks. He will have a second Raven coming in. Let's see what he can do. As he starts his third CC now, that is later than ByuN. So again, this greed of ByuN at the moment is something you gotta be careful of, because it is something that can be punished. And I say that just because HeroMarine is already on his way across the map. This tank's in a bit of a weird place too. If you know where that tank is, you can set up tanks here and get an insta-kill on a tank right away. Or you could Matrix a tank and take that position. That works as well, right? So, some possibilities there that are kind of fun. This tank's gonna siege, and that tank damage is gonna start coming through. Tank's taking a little bit of damage right there. Marines wanting to come back in, want to try and fight against that Raven. Oof, the Cyclone gets taken down in an instant, so that doesn't go so well. I've seen the rest of HeroMarine's army continuing through. A couple of SCVs going down across the map as our auto turrets get to work. Yeah, it's a good counter from ByuN. He's actually going to get a lot of damage done, but that means he is missing a Raven from this side of the map, and he loses the Raven as well because of the Vikings. So, no Raven anymore from ByuN, so yes, good damage done, but it doesn't actually immediately help you in this position. So you still have this push of HeroMarine you got to cope with. Double Matrix goes down, and well, HeroMarine might just go and push on up here. No Stim against Stim about to finish. I don't know if Stim matters so much when it's going to come down to a lot of the tank fire and stuff anyway. HeroMarine just took that as a chance to move further forward again. Basically a hard contain on the two bases. You're not able to break out of this just yet. HeroMarine now going to see the Vikings showing up. Somehow did not kill the Raven that was lower HP there. Therefore he lost his Viking ByuN. Missing vision here. These tanks are going to siege up. That's going to be a dead tank. Here we go. ByuN's going to try and break this with the Stim pack. The Vikings don't mind taking some damage. The auto turret to help. Anything to keep these Marines away from the tanks as long as possible. As they run on in, tanks are still sieged. And HeroMarine is going to retake the lead in this series. Or take the lead in this series. As he's going to win 2 in a row if he keeps this up. Don't see where else this is really meant to go at this point. Marines trying to stim on down. Tank's still just firing. All of this getting cleaned out, guys. This is pretty much just gonna be it. 70, well, 80 SCV or 80 supply against 40. HeroMarine is gonna go up onto match point, so he's gonna be the leader of this as we enter game number 4. And let's bottom left-hand side, match point. It is HeroMarine. Can he take this all the way home? Can he finish this up? We're gonna find out right now. ByuN looking to survive in the upper right-hand side. What does he want to do with tournament life on the line? No room for mistakes, guys. No room for mistakes. It is going to be, ooh, double racks. Double racks opening. That's kind of fun. Okay, so 2 racks Reaper in base. Obviously, we'll be able to put on some good pressure from here. What I always like about this build personally is I always think that this build has good potential to deal some damage, and if your opponent messes up, you can do serious damage and win the game from it. But of course, it's not overly committed either, and it's a good way to set up into like a biocentric opening in TvT instead of, you know, fully relying on the factory and stuff. SCV is going to move this ramp into a full wall off, so no information to be gained there. Of course, at this point, you could just assume that this is going to be a factory opening, same as what HeroMarine is doing, right? He's building a factory. If he was on the other side of the map, he would have been walled off too, because he wouldn't have left this gap for the reactor, so yeah, HeroMarine just pulls back. I mean, the main information from that SCV is that this is not a fast expansion. There's the Reaper. Goes across to the bottom, so away we go. Come on through. And HeroMarine is with the first Reaper actually going to get the Reaper of HeroMarine cornered. ByuN a little bit, sorry. So HeroMarine gets ByuN's Reaper cornered, but ByuN has a good grenade to get out of there, so he saves his first Reaper, and that's obviously massive in this moment. He's got the high ground vision, he's going to turn this, he actually gets a good shots off, and that's amazing. The high health Reaper is the one that dies. Uh-oh. Now HeroMarine is going to have to start a play recovery, loses another SCV, is going to be down on the low ground of this CC, not currently building, and ByuN is continuing to build Reapers too, so he's not letting up this pressure, he's going to keep it going. Continue to build Reapers on his way to a Hellion, he'll force the cancel on the low ground. Now HeroMarine has the money to rebuild that in the main base if he'd like to. Let's be honest, going to back it up. Still making Reapers though. The more Reapers you make, the more committed this is to dealing some damage. Otherwise, you would have been able to tech up further, starport a bit sooner, stuff like that. So yeah, more Reapers equals ByuN absolutely looking to make a play here. And he's now got a starport up before expanding as well. He's going to jump on the first Hellion. HeroMarine not expecting this. He's going to lose one Hellion, lose a Reaper. Kills a Reaper in exchange. Uh-oh, this is really bad, because this is still not even a wall-off here for HeroMarine. Oh, eats a massive shot from the first Hellion shot there, though. As the Reapers and the Hellion come in to chase down the other two Hellions, SCVs are going to have to pull now, gets one of the Hellions. And we are just so far away from anything in production being ready for HeroMarine, so ByuN should get a few SCV kills here. In fact, he's just going to get the game victory. GG's, ByuN is going to tie it up. Wow, that was, that did a lot more than expected. 2,000 atmospheres. Kind of said that this map could be kind of a long one, right? You know, if we have a comparison to Romanticide, this would probably be it. Should we buckle up and prepare ourselves for a long game? I wouldn't do that right away. Like, if this was Romanticide V2, I would say sure, but there is a little bit of difference on this map. It isn't as easy to you know, defend bases. It is a bit easier to rotate between bases. So it's not as mental as Romanticide in that regard. Let's see what happens. Is in the bottom left-hand side. Our red Terran player is going to be HeroMarine. Top right side, our blue Terran player is going to be ByuN. What's up, Raro75? Thank you so much for the 16-month resub on the Prime. Appreciate it. Welcome back as we'll see double gas versus double gas once again, so no one gas expanding. Double gas expands have really just dominated the meta. You know, it used to be a lot more kind of 50-50. Now double gas expansions are just way more common. They are seen so much. So I think people realize the advantages you gain off one gas. People can really play around it so easily. It's just so much safer to go double gas on the opening. Now it's a Fnatic SC2. Thank you so much for the 15-month resub on the Prime. Lots of Prime resubs today, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed. Hell yeah. Sorry, the camera's a little inactive because I'm just stretching a little bit while we wait for stuff to happen. Cast and replay means that we can't steal someone else's point of view for a couple moments. Tell you what, this stream went pretty quickly actually. Already 5.5 hours in. It's pretty sick. It means we've had good games. It means we've had good, interesting games. Two Reapers and Hellion up over here. These guys are kind of play for play matching each other. HeroMarine just skipped the starport though. Not sure why either, because he had the money to build it sooner. I mean, they've done the exact same thing, just HeroMarine didn't start the starport as quickly, so like it's not like he had the money later or anything, just didn't have it ready to go. Maybe a slight difference on the depot build timing or something. Most CCs are going to be finished up in a moment. Gonna see that Marines rally now. Gonna see ByuN to be the aggressor once again. Are we shocked? No, not at all, really. He loves being the aggressive player. He's been that way pretty much all day today on the TvTs. Head on down to the bottom left-hand side. Unloading over here, Marines, Hellions, Reapers, not all of them getting unloaded. The Cyclone there obviously creates a good defense. When you've been kind of neck and neck in terms of your build order, it's very difficult to do much as the aggressor. It really relies on your opponent being out of position, but of course when it's just the one medevac initially, it really is just... It should be handled easily, right? It should be handled without any issue at all. Unloading down the bottom right-hand side, this watchtower being taken. Yeah, it's heading down the south. Just gonna see HeroMarine coming around the upper right as well. ByuN is gonna come around too, trying to see what's going on. Looking up over on the left-hand side. HeroMarine just gonna come through the middle. Reapers and the Cyclone is going to come back around the center. Third CC send up from ByuN out in the front there as we just have some trade outs. HeroMarine making the better of those trades. We do see the 8 Marines, 2 siege tanks. They're going to be with the Raven comboed into the middle of the map, and away they go. So they're going to make their way through the middle here and see where they get to. All the way down this bottom side, Marines, tanks, Cyclone setting up. Reaper gonna get hit by the Cyclone. Just got a lock on there. A couple of Marines gonna start going down. Medevac still backing away. Wasn't able to create an opening. HeroMarine had units in position, so ByuN does not find anything with this next attempted aggression. Once again, is just gonna be held back. Marines and tank will come down to the third base, where the third CC is going to be continuing to build. About halfway done on that orbital command. Cyclone back into the center. Well, it's going to be keeping the map control as everything else takes a moment or two to slow down a little bit. We're even just going to be heading down to the bottom side again. 1-1 upgrades, combat shields all coming through. And as ByuN is just going to be continuing across. Upgrade difference is a little bit in ByuN's favor. That 1-1's a little faster, so as he heads on down to this bottom side, might be able to get something done with the positioning down here. Lynchfin's Matrix going to grab one siege tank right away, and now a lot of these Marines going down too, so ByuN actually dealing some pretty good damage. And those 1-1 upgrades still just coming through, just going to see combat shields about to complete. And TT is done up from ByuN as well. I mean, just already having the 1-1 is obviously nice for him, as he actually hits the left side as well. He's actually going to get rid of this little refinery, so little bits and pieces being done at the moment here. All of this adds up, of course. This game feels very reminiscent to Lightshade, you know, when, you know, HeroMarine kind of showed up and got in position. And this time, ByuN kind of just shows up and gets in position. And this is what I was talking about with this map versus Romanticide. This map doesn't have the same kind of, you know, the same kind of layout as Romanticide in the sense of you cannot rotate easily or you cannot move around as easily. Romanticide is very clear-cut where you're going to be going to, but this map has a bit more freedom while still being a pretty friendly, larger map with a decent chance to defend your bases. Marines, tanks coming through, just going to see this set of rocks being picked away at. We're having down the bottom right, Marine tank Viking. Setting up as well. So now we've got these two different armies of ByuN as he maxes out, trying to use them to effectively attack on in to this force or this position of HeroMarine. Anti-armor missile being the choice from ByuN's Raven, but I don't think he'll be able to jump on that and really fight and to trade out from it. HeroMarine is just a little stuck here. He needs to find a way to do something. He's got air control. Is air control his answer to getting out of this? The problem is air control is really good for breaking your opponent. It's not so good for breaking out all of the time. This tank's going to get pushed away. Marine's going to turn it back around. Anti-armor missile this time comes in from HeroMarine. That's going to dissuade ByuN from obviously committing with that army. So, really basically just buy HeroMarine time where ByuN can't fight over on the right side. HeroMarine just going to start pushing towards his fourth base, but look how much slower this is compared to ByuN. 4 bases up, building base 5, building base 6. Not necessarily bases, but they could just be an extra, you know, orbitals, etc. As he wins this fight over on the left side, and oh my goodness, 2-2 against 1-1 is putting in some work right now. I mentioned the upgrades earlier, nothing really came of it, but oh my god, the Marine on Marine fight is disgusting with the upgrade deficit in play. Anti-armor missile will at least allow now HeroMarine to actually break out this topside. Raven's MVP, Matrix's, and the anti-armor. But ByuN just says, so what? I'll push down the bottom side instead. This base ain't a planetary yet. I can fight it. And that's exactly what he will do. He's going to force it to lift off. Isn't actually going to have the kill on it just yet, as we will utilize the tanks as supporting fire. Another tank shot or two coming in from HeroMarine there. As we got our CC just going to relocate one more time. Vikings coming through, a couple of Marines able to get some pickoffs. On the left side, the Vikings moving around as well. We're gonna make our way out here from HeroMarine. Over to the left, just gonna be seeing a couple of Vikings firing up. Marines are gonna start charging in. Marines coming from HeroMarine here, charging through as well. A couple of those Vikings getting shot down. Central does have to lift up here. Is just going to be seeing the tanks holding back. Mortar turret goes down here. Marines are going to start stimming forwards. Now we're going to see 1 and 2 siege tanks picked up already. Those tanks are just going to fire away, pick away that orbital command. Orbital command just going to have to lift on up. Marine tanks still moving down the right side. Over on the far left, a couple of extra tanks sieging. I mean, again, this multi-pronged attack, and eventually at some point, HeroMarine is maybe going to break, or is he? At some point, is ByuN going to overcommit in? That's the real question between the two, right? This time, ByuN is able to break into this. He's about to have 3-3 upgrades, and it's not even started from HeroMarine. That's one of the ways ByuN is definitely taking a lead, that upgrade setup. It wasn't just, you know, 2-2 being faster than his opponent before. Now it's 3-3 versus just no upgrades on the way. Libs coming in from here, and we mentioned that air control maybe being able to save him a little bit earlier, and this time the Libs are going to start pushing stuff back. Rest of our Marine tank army makes its way down the bottom side. We're going to have a fight over here happening, breaking out right away. HeroMarine is not going to be happy with how it's going as he types out the GG, and unfortunately, our German Terran player is going to fall. Oh, I was kind of believing in HeroMarine to go on a nice long run, but ByuN brought some cool games here. This was just a cool series in general, from that first game being so mega long to the rest of it. ByuN 3, HeroMarine 2, and HeroMarine is eliminated.